Dunkirk is a name that any historian will tell you is of significance. For the modern French though, it is a popular holiday destination with kilometres of wide white sandy beaches to be enjoyed. It is hard to believe that around 80 years ago, this was the scene of the largest military evacuation in history, with over 340,000 British, French and Belgian troops rescued over the course of 8 days, called Operation Dynamo. There's a fantastic museum which tells a complete story day by day, with loads of great artefacts and film footage. Nothing much remains in the town as evidence, except for a few concrete pillboxes falling into the sand that are now used by budding graffiti artists to showcase their talents, and a few shipwrecks visible at low tide. It's not hard to imagine the desperation felt by the Allied soldiers as they waited for rescue, surrounded on all sides by the German forces, with the threat of being shelled by artillery or strafed by aircraft. Just behind the sand dunes are the yellow bricked remnants of an 18th century military base adapted for use during the Second World War. It took 8 months for the Allies to take back the town in 1945, so a lot of Dunkirk was destroyed, but there still remains some great architecture close to the beachfront, including a 600-year-old bell tower with a stunning panorama over the city. It also rings out a tune every 15 minutes, using the 50 assorted bells inside, but I wouldn't recommend being in the room at the time unless you want some permanent ringing in your ears in the form of tinnitus. Not far out of Dunkirk, in the village of Gravelines, we found the ambitious project of Christian Cardin, a retired hydrogeological engineer, which is a full replica of a Louis XIV battleship named the Jean Bart, who was a famous corsair from the 1600s. He got the idea after discovering 6 shipwrecks in the early 80s, but he only began building it in 2002, and 20 years later, still not has come close to finishing. One of the major problems he encountered was that no one actually knew how to build a ship like this, as the skills were passed down from master to labourer by word of mouth. So he had to study a series of 50 plates showing a similar design from the time, and also take measurements underwater from 2 of the shipwrecks he found. A small model was built from which the carpenters could get a reference to help visualise the full-size work. The volunteers like these men come part-time to build the ship, with around 3,600 oak trees needed for completion. He estimates another 10 years to finish it, which is a bit optimistic if you ask me, considering how far he's come already. The most amazing thing, however, is the fact that once it's been completed, he won't be able to sail it due to the law that requires all seagoing vessels to have a motor. So after who knows how many years of effort, it is destined to reside in a dock, never to see the sea.